Welcome back. Welcome back. Once again, this is Rod Powell, and this is the You Should Get a License podcast edition. But this is a very, very special edition. Uh, as you know, insurance is a global industry in the financial sector of business. And tonight we have, or today, wherever you're listening from, my guest is an international sales leader in the insurance space. Based in Manila, Philippines. He is a $1 million roundtable producer. This means that he has produced over $1 million in premium. And actually, he corrected me on this. It was over 2 million, I think $2.27 million to be exact. I mean, just a phenomenal individual, a great sales leader himself. And he's award-winning. He's a top producer. He's pretty much, done a ton of things in his insurance career thus far, and still has a lot more to go. He's chiming in, from his restaurant, which we'll talk about as well, that he owns. And I want to welcome to the You Should Get a License podcast, Mr. Francis Sarmiento. Francis, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Rod.
Awesome, man. Hey, look. Thank you for being here. Like I said, really excited about our conversation because, we've spoken with guests who are based in the U.S. and you're our first international guest. And I'm excited to learn, how the insurance industry and that career track works, in the Philippines where you are. So, for this platform, we're introducing the opportunity or maybe sharing it with someone who is a newer agent to the business. And there's so many different segmentations. But can you tell me a little bit about what your specialty is in the insurance space? Like what is your area of focus on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first off, Rod, thank you so much for this opportunity. It really is a privilege. Regarding your question, with how I do business, most of my clients really are people who wants to get insured and start their investment at the same time. So most of my clients actually owns a VUL policy, a variable unit linked policy, and it attracts more Filipinos to have that kind of policy as opposed to just pure life insurance, because we have this stigma that about insurance, that if you get an insurance policy, you're only preparing for your kids, for your next of kin to receive the money. And most people here, as far as I know, don't want that because they want to enjoy what they work hard for. So that's the mindset. So when VUL came in and it was introduced by my company, ProLife UK, here in the Philippines, more people actually got more interested in getting a life insurance policy because the thinking is that they're getting insured and they're preparing for the retirement, for whatever it is in the future at the same time. So yeah, that most of my clients owns a VUL. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to correct you with regards to the MDRT. It's 2.2 Philippine peso here in the Philippines.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. Yes. So would that translate to about $1 million?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay,
all right. 50, yeah.
It's in the millions, yes.
Yes.
Look, however you shave it, you've written a lot of life insurance, a lot of premium.
I would want to collect more than $2.2 million if you convert it, but no, I'm not there yet. Yeah.
No, awesome, man. No, thank you for that correction. So you can look up, the pesos, and you can kind of see what the translation is. But if you look at all of his listings of accomplishments, you'll know that, hey, this man has sold a lot of insurance, But look, you mentioned, the VUL, the variable, universal life. For those who are listening that really don't understand what that is, because that's a very unique positioning, in marketing of life insurance to say, hey, let's focus on the investments, more, we're not just preparing for the death, but also, for those times where you may stop working, you may need to pull some funds. Can you give give us some idea on what the VUL really is, like what that means?
The way I explain it to my customers, so that it's better for them to understand, it's basically life insurance. So the core is still life insurance, but it just comes with mutual funds at the same time. So it's the two combined. So it's basically your packaging life insurance and mutual fund in one product. So yeah, that is basically it. And yeah, so you're paying for your premium, and then eventually you there is an option for some products that you can stop paying your premiums, and then the investment part will pay for the insurance charges if there is enough investment funds on the policy. So
Yes.
as opposed to just paying for a premium for a traditional 100% life insurance, wherein if you stop paying the insurance, then you're not insured anymore. So for most of my clients, it's actually more attractive to them as well, because they worry less about their policy getting lapsed.
Yes.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're paying the premiums, and in those premiums, you have your life insurance that's there as well, but you also have a cash value portion of that's being paid alongside just the cost of insurance, and
Mm-hmm.
that portion is in the mutual funds. It's gaining the interest, is being invested, and if something were to happen with just that life insurance portion, the cash value that's been invested can actually help pay for those premiums on the life side as well, right?
That's right.
So,
Yes. So the
so it's kind of
investment
like
part. Yeah,
no,
so
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, the investment part gets invested in stocks or bonds or a combination of both. Yeah.
So it's kind of like having two products, right? Because you
Yes.
have life insurance, but you also have an investment, portfolio that's kind of combined with that. So there's two portions.
That's correct. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to dig into that. I want to learn how you actually got into that, a little bit of your background. But people get into this business, for a lot of different reasons, from many different backgrounds and experiences. Here's what I want to know, Francis. I want you to take me back all the way to like 9-year-old, 10-year-old Francis Sarmiento. I want you to tell me, what did you dream of being when you became an adult?
Right. So I actually lived in all right, that's far back. Okay. So I lived in I live in an island in here in the Philippines, up north. I live in an island in the middle of Cagayan River, we call it, and we used to not have an electricity there. So my entire elementary life, I actually did not have an electricity. I didn't get to watch TV, but my family are already living in Manila. But I lived in the province, so every time I would go to Manila for vacation after school years, I would get to watch TV, and I always admired flying and going out to outer space. So my first dream then was to become an astronaut. So it's a very big dream. And then as I grow older, I come to realize how hard and impossible it was for me. So then it degraded to becoming a pilot. And then my mom told me when I was in high school going to college that the expense of enrolling to an aviation school is also still very expensive. So then during my time, the most popular job and a course is nursing. So she asked me to just become a nurse and go to the US, and when you become a nurse we will become rich. Basically, that's the
Wow.
story. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm not sure if you have a lot of nurse friends, Filipino nurse friends there,
My
but there
mother
are a lot of
was a nurse.
Filipino nurses there. I'm sorry, Rod.
No, I was just saying my mother was a nurse,
Oh,
for
oh
30
wow.
years. Yeah.
Okay. So
But
yeah,
if I see any
that's
Filipinos nurses, if I see any, you're saying that if I see Filipino nurses, they probably got the same story that you got. Go become a
yes.
nurse and then you'll become rich.
Yes, most probably, yeah. So yeah, and but what we didn't know is that because in when I graduated back in 2009, there are a lot of nurses, like more than half of universities. Most universities in the Philippines would just have nursing enrollees, nursing student enrollees. So that's how big it was. So the hospitals here, they took advantage of that. And so when we would want to work as a nurse, because I can't go to the US or any other country as a nurse immediately. I have to have experience, right?
Mhm.
So the hospitals here took advantage of that. So in order for us to gain experience, we actually need to pay them to work. So yes, I
Wow.
know it's crazy. That's how I reacted. Your face, that's how I was. So when I told my mom that, no, she was like, no, I'm not giving you any more money. So I took a different route instead. So like most nurses, I became a call center agent instead. So that I could start earning. So here in the Philippines, compared to other industries, call center agents would actually have a higher starting rate in terms of salary. Yeah, so that's and that actually looking back, that's actually the reason why I'm a life insurance agent now, because when I became a call center agent, I started receiving decent amount of money, and so I wanted to have a car, so I bought a car. So when I computed for the monthly amortization, the salary for the job as a call center agent would actually be enough to pay for the monthly amortization of the car, but I did not compute for the gas, for the maintenance. And so I didn't know that, no one told me that that I had to replace the tire at some point. So yeah, the salary was enough, but then I wasn't eating at any fast food anymore because everything was going to the car. So at 2 years after paying for the car, I can no longer pay for it, basically. So I posted something on Facebook that I need an extra source of income because the bank is taking the car, basically. And then that's when someone saw my post that I wanted an extra source of income. And then he said something along the lines of, I joined something new and you might be interested as well. So I joined True Life UK. And when I heard that, at first I thought it was a multi-level marketing industry. It was a networking industry because it's also very popular here, networking companies. So, but when I went to the seminar, to the training, that's when I learned True Life UK is a life insurance company. So so yeah, that's actually the first time I heard of life insurance and how it is here in the Philippines, and I got interested with how you earn as a life insurance agent. So I continued with the process.
Very,
So yeah,
man.
that's where.
That is a phenomenal story. It's a lot to dissect, right? So if we go back to the beginning, just go back. You said when you were growing up, the province that you were growing up in, that island, no TV, no
Yeah.
TV, no electricity, and then you would go to Manila, for breaks, for holiday vacation, and that's when you would get exposed to some of those other things. Wow. Tell me about, so when you were growing up, what did you focus on? Because we live in an age that is so technology centered, right?
Mhm.
So when you were a child and you were growing up with no electricity, you weren't watching any TV, what did you do to entertain yourself? Was there just a lot of reading, games, and how did that kind of spin your philosophy as far as your work ethic, you think, as you continue to develop?
Right. In my province where I came from, you have two options as a kid. Number one, you help with the farming because the industry is farming. So as a kid, you would help the parents, your parents, with their job. So it's either farming or fishing because we live in an island. So
Mm-hmm.
or the other route would be for your parent. I was raised by my aunt because my mom was working in Manila. So yeah, that the first option is for you to work during after your schoolwork and or you continue studying, and help with the household chores. So my aunt would ask me to help with the household chores and yeah, reading basically. So I love reading. Modesty aside, I was the valedictorian in my class of 12 in,
Congratulations,
in my
right?
island. Yeah. So, yeah, my aunt was a Seventh-day Adventist. So there's a lot of Bible reading. So yeah, that's how I entertained myself. And yeah, yeah, just household or chores. And, I get to play child games with my neighbors from time to time. But yeah, my aunt though was very, very strict. So I have to be home at a certain hour. I have to wake up certain hour. And as a
Yeah.
Seventh-day Adventist, there are things that I cannot eat. So it also helped me, be the have the character that I have now as a child, as a grown man. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine like just laying that foundation of kind of discipline and order, and
Mhm.
no, man, I think that's phenomenal. And then coming in, you said the astronaut was the original aspiration, which I think is
Yeah.
is phenomenal. I mean, you see nowadays, I think it's amazing. Look, you don't even have to go to school now. You can just pay Jeff Bezos and you're good to
Yes.
go.
Yes, we've
Right?
come a very, very long way.
We've come a long way, right? Right. And then pilot, and then the nursing aspect, and man, I think nursing, as I mentioned, my mother was a nurse for 30 years, in Richmond, Virginia, which is where I'm from. And I tell you, man, that is it is a great profession, but that's a tough profession too. And shout out to all the nurses out there, because that is one that can be taxing. So is that you said that was like a primary career track, but the hospitals would make you pay to get your training for the experience that you would need as a nurse in order to go to the US.
Yes, during my time, yes, yes, because there are a lot of us,
Wow.
so there are a lot of us who wanted to have that experience. So yeah, we have to pay the hospitals just to, have the more training, which for me, of course, did not make sense because the training I had in my amazing nursing school was already more than enough. So it's just basically them taking advantage of it.
Wow. So the hospital, that wasn't even the nursing school training. Like, you had to go through nursing school. Then once you complete that, then you go to the hospital.
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow, man. Like I said, the just in these stories, I'm just hearing a kind of a track record of just discipline and willingness to work hard and just find solutions, not just for
Mhm.
yourself, but you also mentioned for your family, because hey, I was going to be you were becoming a nurse, because then you would go to the US and you would be able to support your family in that capacity. And then you shifted into the call center environment, which you also mentioned is a big industry in the Philippines as well.
Mhm.
And that's one where you can kind of do well and start to support yourself and those who you care about as well. Um, so you said there was an ad that you saw, and that's what made you look at insurance. Was insurance a topic in your household growing up? Is that something that was ever discussed?
No, actually, no. As far as I know, I'm the first person to have a life insurance policy in my family. So
Wow.
I was actually the person to introduce life insurance in the family. So, but just because I'm already a life insurance agent, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I was my first client actually, and then yeah, I introduced it to my sister, to my brother. Yeah, my sister is a nurse in London, by the way. So again, shout out to all the nurses,
Yes.
Filipino nurses, nurses around the world, and
Yes.
you'll I think you'll have an understanding now why most Filipino nurses are amazing because of the training that we have to go through here in the Philippines. But yeah, I think I'm the first person to have life insurance here in my family.
Wow. How does that feel for you? Like being the person to actually introduce life insurance to your family. Like, I mean, to just kind of establish that legacy. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
how does that feel? How does that make you feel?
Honestly, looking back, it was a lot of frustration. Really, it was very frustrating because it took a while before someone from my family to actually get a life
Mhm.
insurance for themselves.
Yes.
So, because number one, they would it would be an accommodation sale, if you know what I mean. Because I would the mindset is that they would only get a life insurance policy because I'm the agent, and on top of that idea, they don't know if I'm actually serious with becoming a life insurance agent, because I'm a nurse, and then I was a call center agent, and then now sales life insurance. So it doesn't add up. So it took a while, maybe it's just actually just now 7 years in the industry that my family members would actually approach me and ask me about how they would want to how they could start getting life insurance, because I'm already 3-year MDRT member, and
Yes.
I'm already 7 years in, so maybe they're seeing that I'm serious with this job, but when I started, most of my clients are actually from people that I don't know personally. So
Mm.
and that's the same with my friends actually. So it took me 5 years to convince one of my high school friends to get a life insurance from me. So that's how, yeah, it's frustrating it was in the
No, no.
beginning.
Hey, look, man, I'm glad you're saying that. I mean, it's look, that answer is very honest. I know in my own experience, starting my career was kind of the same way. Friends and family, they were the last people to kind of believe, so to
Yeah,
speak, in what you're doing, because they've seen you do other things. They see you a certain kind of
right,
way. And what's that saying? You can't be a prophet in your own land.
right,
So
right,
you know, when this information comes, it's like, well, I don't know if I receive it from you. But then when you start to have success and you've been validated, in the industry, then it's like, oh yeah, hey, can we talk about that? Right. So is
right.
that sounds like that's kind of been your experience, as well. Tell me tell me about tell me about your first year, being licensed there. You spoke about some of those frustrations. I would love to hear, that journey. So, and take me from, so you saw the ad, you answered the ad, you had the conversation, and it goes
Mhm.
like what?
Right. So here in the Philippines, the route for most life insurance agent is pretty much the same. You start as a part-time life insurance agent because, as I said a while ago, I only wanted an extra source of income, and it so happened that it was a friend saw my post on Facebook, and that I was looking for an extra source of income, and then
Mm,
he offered this to me. And so I started. I started as a part-time life insurance agent. So I was working still as a call center agent, and then doing life insurance agent on the side. So and that's probably one of the reasons why it took a while for my family and friends to take me seriously,
right.
because yeah, I'm just doing this on the side. They probably were thinking, maybe he'll stop becoming a life insurance agent after 6 months or after a year. But yeah, but here in the Philippines, we would undergo the training under the company that you would like to become a life insurance agent on, because you can only be affiliated in one life insurance company. So you'll train under them. So in my case, it was ProLife UK. And then after the training, I would take the licensure exam. Here in the Philippines, it's regulated by a government agency called Insurance Commission. So we actually take a licensure exam with them. And then, after that, when you pass the licensure exam, then, you get more training with your company. So yeah, it's a continuous training. Until now, actually, I'm still training, because every so often we would have new products, we have new funds to offer, we have so we are continuously evolving. And then especially now, that everything can be done remotely via face-to-face video conferencing, video calls. So there are a lot of adjustments. But yeah, but when I started, we actually have to meet our clients face-to-face. So when I started, I would work as a call center agent from, I don't know, I was night shift when I started, from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. maybe. So I would do my life insurance job before the shift and after the shift. So before I come into work as a customer service representative, I would meet clients, or after I would meet clients, and then of course during the weekends. So that's how I would do it. So it in the beginning, it was a lot of sleepless days, because and considering the traffic that we have to go through here in Manila, just to meet clients, it was a lot of sleepless days, because not nights, because I really don't sleep at night because I'm at
Right. You're working at night.
work. Yeah, I had to serve you guys. I worked for Cricket. I worked for Bank of America. I worked for
Right.
Dell. Yeah, so maybe you might have called me at one point.
This is true. I could have, I think look, that brings up another, just very, very interesting point, how how big that industry is, in the Philippines. And, the fact that, there's, man, industry and communication is a global, exchange, and I might have called over there at some point and spoken to you, and then when you finished talking to me, you went and sold a UL policy to somebody,
Yes.
like right after that. So yeah, man. So it, you mentioned that the insurance commission in the Philippines, once you take the licensing exam, you're pretty much good to go. Now, does that cover the entire country, or are there certain areas of the country that the license is good in, or once you take it in the Philippines, you're good to go?
Yeah, we can sell anywhere in the Philippines.
So you
So
got the whole country. So
yes.
once you get that license, boom, anywhere in the country, I'm good.
Yeah. So that's one of the good things that happened because of the pandemic, actually, because then I have to fly to Cebu or Davao, so somewhere south, just to meet a client and have him or her sign a policy, because we have to do it face to face. But now, because of the pandemic, Insurance Commission allowed us to do our business via video conferencing. So everything became digital. So I can now actually have clients from the far end of the Philippines and don't have to meet him or her personally. So so that's one of the good things that happened for us, actually, because of the pandemic.
Yeah, you said fly. You would have to fly somewhere to meet a client.
Yes, because I have to meet him or her face to face just to make him or her sign. Yeah.
I tell you,
But now I don't have to do that now.
Man, we're kind of, you make me feel like we're kind of spoiled out here. I mean, we drive, but man, hey, I'm flying to go get it. Now I've driven, let me see, I've driven 6 hours to get a signature on an application, but I've never taken a plane to get a signature on an application. That's hardcore, man. If I if I had a clapping sound effect, I would give you one for that, because that's just taking things to a whole nother level. So, the first year, you're finding your way. You're working at the call center, at night. You're looking and trying to find clients. How did you find your first few clients? Like, how were you marketing yourself? How were you putting yourself out there?
A lot of social media work, really. I was very in the beginning. I was very lucky to have some friends, but not very close friends. You know how you have Facebook friends,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't really know them. They're just there. So those
Yeah.
are actually my first clients. People who actually are just my acquaintances on Facebook. So I would, looking back, I think I built my credibility by me posting a lot of my trainings. So every time I would go to the office and undergo training for ProLife UK for life insurance, I would actually post it. And then when I receive an award, whatever award that may be, could be best dressed as a life insurance agent, I would post it. So so that's I think that's one of the biggest help I got for getting my first few clients, and then I continuously still do that, and yeah, before, when I started, I would actually just get one client in a month. Well, now it's a lot different, but yeah, that's how I started. As opposed to other agents, some of my agents actually are doing pretty well. They're starting with their career as a life insurance agent with 4 policies already in a month, even more. So yeah, some agents would do it 12 in a month on their first month. So yeah, it is amazing. So it's really how you do the work. I started slow, really. Also because I was also still working as a call center agent. Some here in the Philippines, once they finish their training, they would actually just leave their full-time work and just do the career. But we don't have salaries though, so we are purely commission based. So I admire those people because they have the courage, the guts to do it. I can't do that. I have a lot of bills to pay. So so I
Yes.
have to the fixed source of income first.
I get it, man. No, same out here. Typically, if someone is entering the life insurance force, life insurance, sales force, it's going to be 100% commission. You're out hunting, kind of you eat what you kill, kind of
Mhm.
kind of grind. And I think it's a smart play. Hey, look, I'm going to work, and I'll set my, in my part-time, I'm gonna write policy to just kind of build up that book of business so that I can step away comfortably when it's time to do so. So you were saying, hey, look, one, you were shooting for maybe like one policy a month. And that's significant. Even that one policy a month makes a significant difference in your income with insurance when you're getting that advance and things of that nature. Was that a goal that you were setting? Like you were saying, hey, look, I just want one policy this month for the next one policy a month for the next 6 months, or that's just kind of how it was, kind of panning out with your process?
Look, when I started, I just really wanted something else to pay for my car, So 3 months after, Blue Life actually was paying for my car.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's actually just in the beginning, that was the goal, really.
Yeah.
I just wanted to eat well again and buy new clothes again from my salary as a call center agent, because I wasn't able to do that anymore for the first 2 years of having the car. So yeah, but but after that, yeah, that's when I saw that, oh, if I continue doing this, and if I really, I'm just selling one policy a month. What if I do more? So yeah, that's when I came to realize the significant income that I could probably get if I actually do this full time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it still took me a while to do it full time. It took me 4 years actually to do,
Wow.
or three
Yeah.
years, three
3 years.
years to
Yes.
do it full
Okay.
time. Because I was, I'm earning. I loved my job as a call center agent as well. Only because of the people I worked with, really. So it took me a while before I decided to leave the industry. But yeah, I was earning a lot in the call center industry, and then I was also earning the same amount with ProLife UK. So if I have both, then I have more money, basically.
Right.
But then it came to a point where I actually had a lot of clients already. I had agents already that I have to take care of. So the time that I have to spend with my career as a manager and as a ProLife UK agent. I wasn't manager then when I went full time, but I have agents under me. I recruited, so I have to take care of them. So that's when I decided that it's not about the money anymore. It's just that I have to, to make sure that they also do well, and also for me to be able to give the best service that my clients deserve. So I have to give that time to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you brought up, having agents and recruiting. I want to kind of shift and talk about, your transition from, just being an agent to actually being a trainer yourself and a sales team leader. When did that transition start to happen? So you're part-time, you're working at night. At what point do you say, hey, I think I can, one, I want to recruit someone else and introduce them to this opportunity. And two, I am efficient and I'm proficient enough to train someone else to be successful as well. At what point did you feel that comfortable and start to see that happen?
Look, I as a person I am very competitive, naturally competitive. I'm not sure if you know StrengthsFinder and Gallup StrengthsFinder, Clifton StrengthsFinder test. My number one theme value is actually competition. So I'm very very competitive by nature. So as when I first received my first award in ProLife UK, that's when I got exposed to the top performing agents and managers in my company. So I saw the speech of the top unit manager during that awarding event, and then I got inspired. So I told myself I want to be that person as well. So that's when that's when it started. I want to become we call ourselves unit managers. So that's when I started recruiting more people. That's when I decided that I can actually become an MDRT. The plan was for me because I did not have any leadership or managerial experience. So in my mind, my thought was the only way for me to become an effective leader for my recruits if I lead by example. So I decided I will become a unit manager, but I also have to become an MDRT because that's the only way for me to tell them that they can become MDRT too, because I did it. So it is possible. So that's how I did it. So yeah, and then I also saw the lifestyle that the top performing agents have in my company, and so yeah, I was like, no, I left my call center career, but I actually can have more here because in my employment, no matter how hard you work, no matter how many hours you work, over time, even if you work all the holidays, you still have, a specific amount of salary that you can earn. You're fixed. There's a cap. But here, if you work really hard, if you do the job really well, you actually get to dictate the amount of money that you will earn. So I love that part of it.
Wonderful, man. Yeah, look, man, I just love the story, more and more that competitive spirit kind of driving you. I mean, as we go through this and, I'm like, man, Francis, where's the book? Where's the book? So like over the years, I want to talk about, some of the awards that you've gotten and the places, that you've been. and I want to ask you a little bit about that. So let's see, CEO Circle, um, top four Emerald Branch, top four producer, Core Club producer in the organization. These are all very highly regarded accomplishments. But New England, been to New England, Korea. Um, let's see here, senior achiever. I'm just looking at all of your awards. What has been kind of the highlight of your career, like thus far? Since you've been in this industry, you've started from the bottom. I mean, look, you started from the bottom, the very beginning, part time, one policy a month, worked your way up to being one of the top producers in the entire country, built a sales team, right? Continued to get accolade after accolade, go on trips around the world, been to several continents as a result of this career. What's been the highlight for you?
The highlight still would, I'm sure there would be a lot more in the future, but the highlight would really be my trip to Florida because of the MDRT convention, my first year as an MDRT member. So the conference was held in Miami, Florida.
Yes.
So yeah, so we I got to meet a lot of amazing people. I got to meet the best life insurance agents in my country because we're going there as a country, from different companies here in the Philippines. But then I also got to meet. I gained a lot of friends. I actually have a mom now. I call her mom, based in the U.S. So yeah, it's amazing. And then on top of that, on top of all the learnings that I received from that convention, I'm 32, but I'm still very kid at heart. I love Mickey Mouse. So after the convention, I actually went to all four Disneyland theme parks in
Oh, wow.
Orlando in 2 days. So
You see that?
I was frantically running around Disneyland for 2 days, and then after that, I actually went to NASA. So it actually came full circle, when going back to my story as a child, I wanted to become an astronaut. And so as you grow older, meeting an astronaut becomes impossible. So you wanted to become an astronaut, and then you realize it's impossible for you because of your circumstances, and then eventually you will realize how hard it would be to just even meet an astronaut. But then I got to meet one real life and
Wow.
have him sign a shirt. So it's amazing. I in my 3 days in Orlando, I was actually bawling my eyes out. I was crying, and I was really thankful and grateful of the opportunity that this industry has given me. And I can only imagine what it could give more in the future. And I want that for as much people as possible. If they can just see the potential of the industry, if they really just do the hard work, because it's not, I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be easy. There are a lot of disappointments, rejections. There will be a lot of trainings that you have to go through, but that's the same in all industries, right?
Yeah.
If you really want to be the best in what you do, there are a lot of hard work. But some people just don't see the sales industry in the life insurance as one of the viable options for them. But it really is.
I mean, look, man, you're a walking, testimony and really example of that. I mean, we're talking literally life changing
Yeah.
experiences and opportunities. So at this point, I mean, you've had a ton of accomplishments, man. I mean, I'm seeing you. You're sitting in your beautiful restaurant out there in the Philippines, which we'll talk about as well. But what keeps you motivated now? Like, how do you stay motivated after you've had all this success?
um as you mature, there are your goals, and your happiness becomes different. I'm still young, but when I was younger, I was my dream really was to become rich. Basically, I want to have a lot of money, and I thought that would make me really happy. But when you mature, you actually have a different source of happiness. And right now I I become happy when I get to employ more people, and I get to do that here. So I have two secretaries now. I plan to have more, and in the restaurant we have 21 employees, and my partner, my life partner, and I would not have been able to do that if not for the opportunity I had uh, with Pro Life UK. So those are the motivations. I want to build more business just so I can employ more people, give more jobs to more people. So that's one of my motivations. Um, and yeah, but my primary motivation is still my mother, my mom, my single mom. I'm the youngest of four, but she actually raised all four of us alone. So I wanted when I went full time, um, I felt like I've been a disappointment to her for a lot of reasons in the past years because she wanted me to become a nurse, and she wanted me to fly to US or Dubai or London or wherever so that I can bring money home in the Philippines and help with the family, and I wasn't able to do that because I I don't want to. Right now, I'm looking at my nurse friends who actually went through with the career. I don't think I can do the job that they're doing. So I can't be a nurse. It's hard. I don't want to put the life of a person in my hands, but
Yeah.
somehow I'm doing that, helping other people on my way. But what I was saying is that I felt like I was a disappointment because I wasn't able to do what she planned for me to do. So when I went full time, I promised myself that I will become successful here in this industry. I wanted to prove to her that I don't have to go abroad. I don't have to go outside the country, just so I could help with the family. And so it took a while. It took me a year to actually earn a decent income when I went full time. Because we are purely commission based, and in the beginning, she would always bombard me with things like, um, I'd like to speak in Tagalog, but basically, she would say something like, "There's no future there. You have to do something else," something like that. Because she is also a salesperson. She is an art dealer. She sells paintings for a living.
Mm.
So maybe she knows how hard it is to be a salesperson, and maybe she doesn't want that for me. You know, so she wanted me to do something else, but I wanted to prove to her that I can do it. I can be successful here. So in the beginning and until now, that's actually still my motivation. I want to make her proud always. I want to make her see that although I did not become a nurse, although I did not get to work outside the Philippines, I'm still able to help her with the family, because every every time there's a chance for me to tell for her to tell me this, she would always tell me, you have to take care of your nieces, your nephews. When I'm gone, you have to do this, you have to do that. So I want to make sure that hopefully in the long in the far future, when the Lord takes her with him, she'll see that I'm established enough to support the family that she helped and raised on her own. So that's the main goal, really.
Wow, man, that's phenomenal. And I was gonna ask, how do you feel like I was gonna ask you, um, how do you feel like having a license has changed you as a person? I think you described actually a lot of that about how your motivations have changed over the years, and kind of culminating with, being able to take over as the one who is supporting, the family eventually. Do you feel like having a license has changed you as a person? Do you feel like you're a different person now versus before you got your insurance license? If so, how so?
Yeah, I definitely, right now, Rod, quite honestly, I'm still not supporting the family because they're still doing
Preparing
very
for
well.
it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm preparing for it. When the time comes that my mom can no longer do that, because she's a very proud person,
Yeah.
she wants to make sure that, she takes care of her grandkids, on her own as long as she can. So she can still do that. But, she's 71 now, I believe, 70 years old now. So she's not that young anymore. And the time will come, that she won't be able to do it anymore. But I want to be prepared for that time,
Yeah.
So how having a license changed me? If I'm not a life insurance agent, I'm sure I'd be doing something else, and I would still do my best to be very well, in that whatever career that may be. But here in this career, the difference is that, because I could have taken, the nursing route, and I could be in the US, I could be in UK working. But the difference is that the money that I could be earning in the US, in the UK, I'm earning here in the Philippines, and I get to be with my family. So I guess that's the difference, I get to be with my friends, and that's actually one of the reasons why I don't want to be a nurse, because you can't be rich, you can't become rich here in the Philippines as a nurse. You have to, go abroad to do that, so and that's the reason why I don't want to become a nurse, because I want to be rich, Rod. I want to have the
Right,
money.
right.
So,
Like, let's be clear.
so
Right,
I,
right.
I can't do that here in the Philippines. And so, but at the same time, I don't want to leave my family. I don't want to leave my friends. My life is here in the Philippines. So I'm sure I could make the adjustment if I have to. But if I have the choice, then why choose to do that?
That's right.
So that opportunity, the life insurance industry gave me that opportunity to earn a decent amount of money, and have the lifestyle that you want for yourself and your family without you going out of the Philippines.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And at the same time, I'm seeing the value of what I'm doing. I actually just had my first claim last month. So in my 7 years of being a life insurance agent, I had my first death claim, and it
Wow.
was hard, really. And but then that's when I realized that, yeah, I'm doing something good. That person left more than 1 million pesos to her family. Without the life insurance policy, she spent a lot of time in the hospital. There are a lot of debts because of her hospitalization, and they got to pay all of that because of the claim, because of the debt claim. And a lot of people here in the Philippines have that same story. You'll be hospitalized for a very long time before you die, and you live with a lot of debts, and then that debt will be inherited by your family.
Wow.
So that's always the story. But if you have a life insurance policy, yes, the money will never be enough, to to for the pain that they will feel, because they lost you as their mom, as their dad, as their brother, sister. But then they will not have that burden of paying for all the debts that you may leave behind, the financial obligations that you will leave. So right now, I'm loving my job even more.
Wonderful. Wonderful, man. Look, I think everything that you're doing, it's coming from the right place. I mean, just from what I can tell. And just before we start wrapping it up here, I do want to talk about your restaurant, because now your insurance career has kind of transitioned you and giving you the ability, with your partner, to open up the restaurant where you have the 21
Mm.
employees, right? Tell me about the restaurant.
Yeah, well, the restaurant is owned by my life partner. you know.
Got
So
you.
I'm
Okay.
actually just it's not mine, but I am supporting him, you know, in whatever way that I can.
Yes.
And yeah, and I'm supporting him better because of the opportunities that my industry has given me, you know. So one of the amazing things that I treasure most in my industry is because of my job, I have a lot of networks. I have great network, you know, and I'm taking advantage of that. Most of our customers here are my clients, are my colleagues in the life insurance industry. So if you're a person who loves to make a lot of friends, then yeah, this is a job for you. And you know, in the future, whatever your industry may be, I'm not sure who said this, but they say your net worth is your network,
That's it.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your net,
so
your network is your net
uh,
worth. Yeah.
the better network you have, the better you'll be in life. And I'm proving that right now, actually. So yeah, I'm helping. I financially, from time to time, I'm able to help him with the finances, but I would have not been able to do that if I'm doing something else.
Well, in the US, if your partner or your spouse, owns something and you're there, what we call that in the US?
What is that?
We call it community property. Right? So,
Right, yeah, makes sense.
what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. So, yeah, all good, man. Look, so before we start wrapping it up, what's something that you would tell somebody who is maybe on the fence, maybe they're thinking about getting their license, maybe they've been introduced to the opportunity, they haven't moved forward on it. What would you tell them about joining this industry?
Look, I understand where they're coming from. If that's the case, you know, it's an unfamiliar job. There's no course, you know. There's no college that you can enroll to become a life insurance agent, you know. So no one, as far as I know, no one in there, you know, when they were asked as a child, you know, I want to become a life insurance agent when I grow up. There's no person like that, you know. But if you've been invited, if you're thinking of of trying it out, you know what? Try it out. You know, you will lose a lot more if you don't give yourself a chance. You know, it will forever be a what if. You know, if you don't give it a shot. If you don't give it a shot. You know, and yeah, I there are a lot of people who actually are doing a lot better than me. You should meet all of them, Rod. I'm going to introduce you to them if you if you
Please.
want. There are a lot of life insurance agents and managers in my company. Even in just my company, they're doing a lot better than me. You know, so you don't even have to see me as the inspiration or whatever. You know, there are you can actually do more than I always tell this to my agent, because yeah, they would always look at my achievements, and they will always tell me that they can do it because I'm different. But I would also tell them there are more people who are actually doing a lot better than me. So maybe you can do more than what I'm doing right now. So yeah, but you will never know unless you give yourself that opportunity. So yeah, you lose
Mm.
nothing really. Maybe just the licensure exam fee that you'll have to pay, and it's not that much even. It's just 2,020 pesos. So in dollars, you divide that by 50 pesos. So yeah, it's not a lot of investment really, as opposed to starting your own business. And I'm learning that now that I own a restaurant. The
Yes.
investment that I have to build, to invest here is a lot more. So becoming a life insurance agent is a much less expensive, much less expensive business, if you'd like to put it that way,
Got you.
that you can give yourself.
Yeah, man. Just give yourself the opportunity. No, I love that.
Mhm.
So, if folks want to reach you, if they want to communicate with you, ask you a question, follow up, find you online, how do folks get in contact with you, Francis?
Yeah, I'm on all social media platforms. I'm on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. My Twitter and Instagram is Francis Moses. So FrancisMoses. They can add me on Facebook. I cannot add anymore. I have 5,000 Facebook friends that I don't know all of them, but yeah, but they can still message me there. Just look for my name, Francis Moses Clavita Sarmiento. And yeah, and then I also have a Facebook page. So I own Finance and Motivation Facebook page. So that's me. If you want to reach me there, you can too.
Okay. And look, we'll have all the links, in the video description, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel as well. Francis, look, thank you so much for the time to speak. I certainly appreciate you accommodating it. I know we are on different sides of the planet and dealing with the time zones, man. I am so appreciative of this time. Your story is just so inspiring. I hope folks can listen and really know that, hey, there's no excuses. And for those who are hearing this interview, whether you're in the US or you're in the Philippines, and if you're in the Philippines, definitely make sure that you're reaching out to Francis. Maybe you heard something, in this conversation that made you think, you should get a license. Until the next time, thank you very much. Take care.
All right.